Hi, dear student friends. Welcome to our online platform. Hope you must have understood the poem Tables Turn. And today, now let me take up the first prose lesson of studies by Francis Bacon. Bacon, it's normally given he is the father of English essays, and he is known for his style that is called epigrammatic style. Epigrammatic. Epigrammatic style. You just keep it in mind, this word, because you can use it in your annotations or paragraph questions. He is known for his epigrammatic style. What is that epigrammatic style? Sentences are little, but an excellent meaning, the meaning which can be expandable, is stuffed in that little sentences. Okay, so this much of introduction is enough about our Francis Bacon. Now, coming to this essay, you just keep in mind the number 3, because this is the easiest way of remembering the entire essay. 3, because the essay revolves around this number 3, because he talks about 3 purposes of studies and 3 types of persons, and then 3 types of books and 3 types of character builders. Okay, so just 3 purposes, 3 types of persons, and 3 types of books and 3 types of character builders. Now, this essay can be divided into say some 11 sentences like that. Some sentences are little, certain sentences are a bit more explanation goes on. Now, the very first sentence, it is he talks about studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. See, 3 purposes. The first sentence is delight, studies for ornament, and studies for ability. Normally, delight is the second sentence. It explains about how for delight. Normally, when we travel or when we go for a bed before bedtime, or whenever we are at leisure, we read certain books, comic books or funny books or certain detective novels and whatever you like. That is just we read for the sake of delight, a sort of mental satisfaction, might be a sort of entertainment. Then comes studies for, next thing is ornament. What is that ornament? Normally ornament in a discourse, in a conversation. Say for example, I am to give a lecture on personality development and how people should be always ever ready to speak something, to say something. So when I am going to give a lecture on that, I start personality is more important. You should always be in a right attitude, right mood, and because once you start the lesson or once you start the work, you need not stop, because arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, as Vivekananda says. So this is the example. So in my discourse I can quote. So this is for the sake of ornament, a sort of decoration to add some spirit, some josh to my lecture or to all those things. As an ornament also, studies, they help us. And third thing is for ability. So third purpose is for ability. How? Normally, this is, you may be in top position to give your opinions, your judgment, or to keep things in an order. All those things, you need a thorough study of those books. Because the very second sentence says, expert people, they study books between the lines, because they are the persons who are to plan and who are to organize. There is a word is given here, that is marshalling of affairs. See the second sentence. Marshalling of affairs. Marshalling of affairs means marshalling, that is assemble and arrange in one particular order the events, the affairs. These things can be done only by experts. So for that, we should have the ability. So studies serve the third purpose, that is ability. Okay, so here we have completed 2 sentences of the essay, and the third sentence he is talking about the positives and negatives of studies. How? Normally, you go on reading just for the sake of entertainment, you become lazy, because you take something for your entertainment and your joy, you don't do other works, and automatically when you are carried away by your reading, you become lazy. That is one minus point first. And the second thing is using too much for ornament. See, in my speech, if I go on quoting the quotations, he said like this, and she said like that, this book says like this, and finally you become, please say what you are going to say. People say and just simply they leave the stage or leave the place. That is the problem. It is a sort of showiness. So too much decoration is always not good, because you have to give the actual content. So that affects. That is the second minus point. And the third point is that is judgment wholly by rules is the humor of a scholar. Every time you are going on judging what others say, what others point out, others' plans, people think your behavior is just like a scholar, because to be scholarly always doesn't work. Okay, so for this, he says certain things, because studies, they are just like natural abilities. Natural abilities means a plant grows just like a plant, as it has branches. Certain times, to make the plant grow perfectly, we need to lop off or cut the side branches. So it means studies give you a lot of knowledge, but all the knowledge you cannot put in practice. So then what is to be done then? Then your experience helps a lot. The wise people, they take material from the books, but at the same time they add their experience to what they have learned. So thus the studies are always supported by experience. That is what the wise people do. So that's why we can say, studies and experience buttress one another. It is a must. Because continuously what you have studied, you cannot keep in practice, because situations demand your experience also. So when there is a good combination of your studies and your experience, things become especially better, and certainly your knowledge tree grows. That is what he says in the third sentence, because except they be bounded in by experience. The studies are to be bounded by experience. And in the fourth sentence, he is talking about again these 3 types of persons. Okay, those persons: crafty people, simple people, and wise people. Crafty people are something like that, just practical people. Okay, they don't need much to study, and sometimes they may hate studies because they want something practical. They don't want to have their minds go deep into the matters. But it is practical. And simultaneous, no, not simultaneous, actually, the on-the-spot results they need. They are so materialistic. So that's why these practical people, they hate studies. Then there are second type, simple people. That is, simple men admire them, because when I am simple, automatically I admire people with higher knowledge. It's a natural thirst. So simple people admire studies and wise men use them. This is very good. So you want to be wise, just use books and add your experience also for this. So wise people use these books and they go forward. Okay. And because why do these wise people use these books means they teach not their own use, books not your own use, but that is wisdom without them and above them, won by observation. The books, they study, at the same time, they add something of their experience to their studies and they write down some other books with their experience. So thus the wise people use them. Next, in the fifth sentence, he is talking about certain do's and don'ts about studies. He says, please don't read studies to contradict others' points of view or to disprove. That is to say that your is wrong. No, don't read from that point of view. Don't read books to oppose others, and he says, just whatever is, don't believe whatever is there in the book and simply you take it for granted. Don't do even that one also. And then, or don't use those books to talk and discourse, just to show your flamboyancy. So something you are different. You don't read for the sake of showy appearance. Then, how to read? That he says, weigh means you consider to what extent the content is appropriate, and that is then consider it as you read. See, this is really worth following. When you read something, to what extent it is correct, compare it, and if it is the one which can be followed, then you follow it. Okay, then you consider it. And in the sixth sentence, he is talking about the three types of books. See, three purposes, three types of persons, and now he is talking about three types of books. That is, some books are to be tasted, some books are to be swallowed, and some few are to be chewed and digested. See, again we can connect here from these three types of people. Just if you want to have delight, you have books. They can be tasted. Just you can refill the pages. Oh, like this. Oh, you can give vertical reading. Vertical reading means something a quick reading. Vertical reading, as you read the newspapers or something like our simple story books or something like that. See, we have two types of reading. One is vertical reading and second thing is horizontal reading. Normally you people do an English text. When you don't want to read, you give a vertical reading. I know that. But if it is a group textbook, certainly you do horizontal reading because you read between the lines. Okay. Now, this is some books are to be tasted because they are for delight. But some books are to be chewed. That is for ornament. Ornament means here you have to give some lecture. You have to understand certain things. That is what you are going to speak or something, what you are going to write. For that, the concept is to be chewed. Okay. To some extent, when you prepare certain articles to your college magazine or something like that, the concept, the ideas are to be chewed. And some books are to be chewed and digested. So this is what you do in your before the examinations, especially final examinations, because you have to put it on the paper. Or you may be a CEO of a company. You have to study all the material related to that. And finally, you have to produce it, the plan. You have to marshal it. The plans. It means that for your ability, you have to chew and digest that type of books. these three types of purposes and three types of books and three types of persons are connected. Okay, crafty because they are very simple, practical. They don't like just they read they give a vertical reading. And simple people, they admire, they read, they admire. And wise people, they chew and digest the books, and because that is for their ability. And eighth sentence, he is talking about the three types of the seventh sentence I am talking about here. I missed it. Again, we have certain books which are just giving nutshell, summary books, because you may not have any time to go through the entire version. You can go through the gist books, summary books, normally written by the deputies. Okay, so those books also helpful to you when you don't find time or when you want to have the outline of those things. Just they are like just distilled waters. May not be that much of useful, but to give you some idea what is there, the content, it is helpful. That is the seventh sentence he says. And in the eighth sentence he is talking about types of character builders. Again, these books. See, if you want to become something, a full man, you should have a reading. That's why he says reading makes a full man, a complete personality. Because ultimately, the more you read, the more you can share. So when your friend is a good reader, if you have a simple talk with him, all his reading will be, handed over to you, transformed to you. Because a friend with a good reading is equal to almost like books of 100 books, something like that. Okay, so your knowledge horizon widens as you go on reading. Okay, so reading makes you a full man. Conference, a ready man. Conference means something like conversation with friends. The more you are in touch with people, with different sorts of people, and that helps you to have their knowledge, and that makes you a man ready to tackle any situation or to answer any issues or to be in public life. So conversation makes you a ready man, and writing an exact man. Say, you want to write down something. How to start? How the ideas are to be put in a coherent order. To write down something, there should be something in the mind. The stuff is needed. When there is no stuff, the pen doesn't move. Just only it dances on the paper. So, the more you read, the more you have the content, or at the same time, something like when you have the subject chewed and digested in your mind, then you write down your ideas perfectly, you marshal your ideas perfectly, then you become an exact man. An exact, up to the mark. No more or no less. See how the reading influences the man's behavior. A complete man, reading makes you a complete man. Conversation makes you, that is a ready man, and writing an exact man. So, thus, after completing the three things which build the character, that is reading, conference, and writing, Bacon asks us something more. That is, when your writing skills are a bit less, that is, you need knowledge. You are in need of knowledge. That's why he says, if a man write little, he had need have a great memory. You need a great memory to write down something because your writing skills are poor. Next, when you are conversing little, it means you need a greater wit. Means you have to gain how to interact with others. So all these things you have to gain, you should keep in your mind. And next, when you are reading little means you are to get knowledge. So these three things, to write down, you should have, that is memory. To converse or to speak with others, you need wit. And to read, you need knowledge. So that is how these books make you have a character. Now, Bacon is switching over to the other aspect, the second part of this essay, that is how these studies they influence us. That is in the ninth or 10th sentence. He is talking about history and poetry and maths and logic. So history makes you, the reading of history makes you, makes people wise, and poetry, it is witty because it is full of imagination, and the wits of the writer, a poet, are to be more. And maths, subtle, because when you are doing maths and when you are a mathematician, your mind always penetrates or goes into the subtle nuances of the concepts and solving the problems or coming to a solution, because thus maths gives you the subtlety. Okay, and logic is again studies or determine the character. Okay, so thus he is talking about how the studies that influence our mind, influence us. And the last part, why should we study? What is the benefit that we are getting out of studies? He is talking about the exercises of the body, because the diseases, certain diseases of the body are cured by taking certain exercises. On the same analogy, certain reading of the books, they cure the diseases of the mind. So it means, like there is a third part, as exercise is to the body, so studies are to the mind. Like bowling, to cure, it is good for the rains are, that's nothing but our kidneys, okay, kidneys and stones, okay, and shooting for lungs, like that. He is talking about different organs. In the same way, the mind too is cured. The diseases of the mind can be cured by reading certain subjects. Something like when your mind is going astray or wandering, something like that. It is something like wool gathering in the sense, say you listen to my class, and your mind will be with your friend who is standing in the queue to take the ticket of the newly released movie. So something like that. When your mind is moving around, moving away, just read mathematics, because mathematics makes your concentration stay at one place, because you are to put your concentration on the sums, okay, and let him study mathematics when your mind is a wandering one, or in certain demonstrations again it is going away, means you practice again, you have to concentrate on mathematics. And when your mind fails to find out the difference or to differentiate which is good and which is bad, to know the subtleties, read school books or school teachers, studies related to school teachers or school men anyway, because they are the hair splitters. Those studies are hair splitters, because he used the word simini sectoris, okay, a foreign phrase, which means hair splitters. And certainly your mind catches those subtleties. And something like that again, to understand certain matters like when you want to prove something, when you want to explain something, we should read the case studies of the liars. Okay, liars case studies, they make you how to go between the lines and raise your point. So thus he says, for every disease of the mind, studies they help you. So thus reading is to the mind as exercise is to the body. So thus he asks us in a way to chew and digest this essay when you want to gain the benefits of studies. So to sum up, just remember the three concepts, three types of three purposes, next three types of persons, three types of books, and three types of character builders. That is one section, and the second section is certain subjects, how they influence our mind, and the third point is as exercise is to the body, study is to the disease of the mind. So keep this in mind and just take the textbook with you, and these 11 lines you listen once again, and you hope you understand it better. And in our next video, I'll be dealing with how you have to tackle this particular lesson in examinations. Thank you.